Our top story tonight, some going down in November.
Wars, spending.
There has got to be something big a-brewing.
They're using geese to guard prisons in Brazil. Does Biden know what Mexico is? Would you scare Joe Biden? What are we laughing at? I think Billy Mays was real.
I'm a world-class skeptic.
I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. I don't know who's big into cocaine and laptops. Why is that our problem? Complete, absolute incompetence. Like, who funds the news? It's a freaking inside job, man. That the entire world's a stage and everything's fake.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Touch Me Tuesdays on the Veritas Road. I am your host, Carson. And guys, if you listen to the show regularly, you're probably expecting my charming and hobbit-shaped co-host, John, to be here. But unfortunately, he had some family stuff going on. So he may pop in later if he can. But he's not here for the time being. So John will be back at some point later on, probably tomorrow, because folks, before we get going, we've got a couple of shows on the agenda. First thing to mention to you guys is we have Ben, I believe, from End of the World News tomorrow, June 24th at 7 p.m. We'll be talking about the color wars in the attempt with a lot of these insurrections, I guess these CIA insurrections, these intelligence agency insurrections out there to bring about end times prophecy. I'm very excited about that. He's got a lot of good information out there on that topic. So we'll have a ton of questions for him about that, guys. So tune in 7 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, June 24th, for our show with Ben from End of the World News. And then on July 10th, we'll have Zach. I'm not sure if his co-host will be there, but Zach, for sure, from the Berean Files. We're going to be talking about symbolism and the nature of symbolism, may get into the like blood and it's the way it works, and like Christian symbolism as well as occult symbolism. So that'll be a really good show. I'm also very excited for that one. So that'll be July 10th, 7 p.m. Central Time with the Berean Files. So be sure to tune in for that. And I think for the time being, that's about it. We're going to try to get Tyler back on at some point. If any of you all have caught any of our shows with him, those are really good. If you haven't watched them, I highly recommend going and checking those out. So we'll try to get him back at some point. But that's all we have going on. We're going to try to get some more people scheduled in the near future. Now, for those of you who are regular listeners for the show, guys, we have a very special guest tonight, somebody who's near and dear to my heart as well as John's heart, even though he's not here. I know he's probably to be missing this. We have Neph Hunter in the house. Neph Hunter, can you hear me?
What's up?
Sweet. What's going on, sir?
Not much, man. Ready to watch some crazy shit.
Yes, we've got a decent amount of crazy shit tonight. Probably some shit you sent us. It's good. I think I told you this before, but it's good to hear the voice behind the hunter. We see you in the chats. We hear you sound off all the time. It's good to actually like put a voice to the name. Like it's nice.
I'm here.
We need to get a streaming setup sent to your house. We can actually like see whatever's hidden behind that demonic angelic figure you have going on there. I'm curious though, before we get started, because we ask everybody this on the show, and I'm always personally super curious. I'm sure you didn't come out of the womb like hunting Nephilim. What's your like wake up story? Like, how did you come to this world? Because I know for me, like it was a long road to get to the point where we're talking about the Nahash in the garden and terrain theory every Tuesday night or whatever. What was that like for you? Like how did you wind up here of all places?
2020 is what put it into overdrive, I would say.
Yeah.
But I grew up I was in a Catholic school from 1st through 8th grade, so there was that. Never really got into it much. I always had to go, but it was just like, church don't feel right, you know?
Yeah.
So there was that, and then you watch 9/11 happen, and I was in school for that. I was probably a freshman in high school, I think, sophomore, somewhere in there. And
Okay.
then once once you get out of school, you start to see that life sucks. Life kind of sucks when you got to start working and stuff. So it's like, man, they just take your money, and this just really sucks. So I just started looking into things, man. But once 2020 came around, it was like, oh, everything's fake and
Dude, that was such a turnaround for so many people because in 2020, because I mean, there was that, you mentioned 9/11. After 9/11, there was that like housing crisis or whatever in like '05.
yeah.
And after that, it seems like a lot of people woke up to the fact that this whole concept, we were all sold. Like everybody was sold this idea of the American dream, 2.5 kids, buy a house, all this shit, right? It became very apparent after that, especially after the Rona, that's not going to be a thing for a lot of people at all. Like I thought my boss is, oh gosh, he's probably 42, and it's amazing. I'm 32. In that 10 years, so much has changed in that 10 years. Like the amount of ability and opportunity that seems to be available to people, really like 35 and younger, I guess 36 and younger ish. And the people who are like in their mid 40s, mid 50s now, who grew up like pre that 9/11 era, really seems to have shifted. And, you know, I don't have a whole lot of frustration from like a logistics standpoint as far as that's concerned, but it seems to have forced a lot of people under the age of 40 to come to some really unpleasant realizations. It did not track how old you actually are, but like a lot of those events really seem to have forced people to wake up, especially people who aren't living that same like American dream. I'm invested in my job and the 401k that I have. Like it really shook a lot of people awake.
Yeah, it had to. It just, and the people that don't want to see it, or that still don't see it, either just don't want to or they can't.
Yeah.
Like it's not that you can wake them up. It's just they just choose to be blind to it, completely oblivious to it.
Right. Yeah. It's that comfort, man, that people get back to. And I guess jumping off into what we're here to talk about tonight, one of the things that it seems like was being sold really hard with the elections in, oh gosh, when was Trump first elected? 2016, and then again in 2024, was this whole idea of, Trump being the savior of the nation. We're going to go back to the golden ages of America. We're going to have a Pax Americana. Everybody's going to be living the American dream. Everybody's going to be, driving a, I don't know what a nice car is. I'm not that into cars, but everybody's going to be driving a Mercedes, and everybody's going to own a house. It's going to be great. Trump's going to make the American people prosperous again. He's going to stripper, he's going to entertain us, and he's going to make sure everybody has money again in 2024. And I'm not going to lie, I was one of the who bought into that back in 2016. I was in my like 4th or 5th senior year of college. I was living a shithole life and was like, well, at least this gives me something to like latch onto, but since 2020 and all the Biden, and now with the weird like technocracy that we live in, I think that it's becoming more and more apparent to like the people who are or were part of the MAGA movement that this whole like America thing, this whole, take it to Congress. The Supreme Court protects your rights is kind of, and
very so.
Do what?
I said very much so.
And so, yeah, 100%. And JD Vance has decided since all this Iran war stuff is starting to allegedly blow over, Vance has come out with a son of a bitch. I'm gonna figure this out, guys, folks. If you're just now listening for the first time, John usually handles the tech side. There we are. Look at that. I figured something out eventually. Vance has been doing a press tour about why this war with Iran and this deal with Iran is a good thing, and also, and this is what we'll talk about first, why why Trump is a man of God. And I think that is just my new favorite thing. This concept that Donald Trump is a man of some kind of like new American Pope. Let's listen, folks.
What is interesting about President Trump is he doesn't wear it on his sleeve, but he is a person of faith. And he does, like all of us, I think about these very deep questions. Where do we come from? Where are we going? And, fundamentally, I think the president, he recognizes that some of the people who have been best to him, who have been critical parts of him getting to the presidency now 2 times, arguably 3 times, they were Christians. And it's funny because if you go back to 2016, when you're right, I was criticizing him. One of the things that was very profound was this connection between religious conservatives and Donald J. Trump. And everybody said, well, they didn't get it. They didn't understand how this, brash New York billionaire could have such connection to Christian conservatives in the heartland. And I actually think if you know the Christian conservatives and you know the president, it's not all that bizarre at all. What is interesting about President Trump is he doesn't wear it on his sleeve, but he is a person of faith. And he does, like all of us, I think about these very deep questions. Where do we come from? Where are we going? And, fundamentally, I think the president, he recognizes that some of the people who have been best to him, who have been critical parts of him getting to the presidency now 2 times, arguably 3 times, they were Christians. And
I was just playing back through.
If you go back to 2016, when you're right, I was criticizing him.
Is that better?
One of the things that was
is it
very
playing back
profound was
yeah, it's just playing back through again.
You're right.
But why do they keep bringing that up?
It's weird,
You keep hearing it everywhere though. It's his first time, his second time, and potentially his 3rd time in office. They just keep bringing that up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, everybody's talking about like the Ingersoll Lockwood books with the Adventures of Baron Trump, and how maybe they're going to try to get Trump in office a 3rd time. And obviously, like those books are weird, but it's weird how this second round of presidencies. Like, when's the last time you heard people? You're exactly right. When's the last time you heard this many mutterings about a sitting president having a 3rd term? Like, I'm not in my lifetime.
FDR. Yeah, FDR, I think, was the last one.
And that was, what, the 30s?
40s, I think. Wasn't 40s? He World War II?
Yeah,
right before World War II?
Yeah, that would have been it. Yeah, around World War II. So, I mean, 32nd U.S. president from, 1933 to 1940, because it was 16 years he was president. Yeah. Yeah. 33 to 45. So a good chunk of the 30s, a good chunk of the 40s. That was the last time we had some kind of like anybody who sat for more than 2 terms. And so it's very strange how this is becoming such a big thing with Trump. And even past that, it's this odd, these odd comparisons between, and it was a big thing with the left prior to this last election, and even early on in Trump's 2nd presidency, this whole idea of Trump as an emperor, right? Like we've seen a lot of that imagery and symbology throughout the entirety of his, runs for office, his first presidency. And I never really bought into it, but I'm starting to, like, even especially after this last round of UFC fights.
And the golden statue you build to yourself and calling America the new Rome. It's all there.
All of it. And I never thought I would buy into that type of narrative, but it's just becoming such low-hanging fruit now. It's almost impossible to ignore. Like, it's borderline impossible to ignore. And it seems to me like people like Vance are coming out into the media and trying to kind of recapture a lot of the people that the Republican Party and the MAGA movement were we're losing, are losing, as this emperor narrative really starts to play out, and trying to say, well, Trump's a good guy. He really is just a good Christian man. These strippers, bombing a bunch of people, like he really is a good Christian. A lot of people he hangs out with are Christians. Forget all the Jews, forget all the right? He's a good Christian man. I don't know in what world people are supposed to believe this, but it's this weird duality of mindset where all of your alleged God-fearing Americans, right? The people who were in the pews Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, talking about praise the Lord. We're gonna, praise the Lord, pass the ammunition. We're gonna make sure we're in this building and doing the right thing. Just doing our weird cult in this 501c3 church. They have different rules for Trump than they do their own kids. Yeah. And to all of those people, I would just say that I would suggest they take a listen to this charming, very, very charming interview Trump did on Air Force One. I think we've covered it before, but we're gonna listen to it again because it makes this whole concept so very obvious.
Talked a couple weeks ago, you were doing an interview and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven, but I've made life a lot better for a lot of people.
I mean, do you need anything other than that? Do you need anything outside of that?
I don't understand how he thinks he's making anything better for anybody. I really don't understand that logic.
Yeah, I mean, it's that kind of, I don't know if megalomaniac's the right word, but that kind of egomaniac, I guess, personality, which I'm reaching a point where I'm borderline black-pilled to such a degree that I often wake up and wonder, is this man even real? I mean, he's so aggressively orange. He's such a caricature of himself. Is he a real person? I mean, he's been around since before I was born. So I don't actually think he's a real person. But is he a fucking clone? We covered clones a hot minute ago. Is Trump a clone?
He's the moon child. He's that moon child from the Alma Mantra workings.
Dude, and I've heard that a time or two. I don't actually know what that means.
that was from when Jack Parsons was out in the desert doing his butthole portal, and 3 months later, Trump was born.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. Maybe he is the moon child. Those weird rituals he was doing with, who was it? It wasn't Aleister Crowley. Was it Aleister Crowley out there?
No, him I don't think so.
L. Ron Hubbard was one of them, I know.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it was Hubbard and Parsons because Crowley didn't like Parsons all that much.
Yeah, it was I thought there was some other big name in Satanism involved, but
there probably was.
Yeah, dude, he's such a weird, enigmatic figure. I mean, he's hilarious. He's entertaining. He'll capture the hearts and minds of people, love him or hate him. Whatever you think about him, he is a incredibly charismatic figure and one of the best talkers to ever live.
Oh, I mean, his comedy's gold, dude. He is.
Yes.
His one-liners are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. His kid's weird too, though. Barron, he's a strange looking guy too.
I mean, he looks like a fucking vampire. I mean, if I'll give a picture of Barron Trump. He looks like, if you had to he looks like a vampire. I don't know how else to describe. He looks like a vampire. I've got to really figure out how to work this keyboard here. Nope, that's not it. That's not. There it is. We got there eventually. I mean, tell me that this face right here does not look like something out of a Dracula movie. If you saw
for sure
this face coming out of your closet, you can imagine a trail. I want to see your blood. You can imagine that voice coming out of him. And isn't he like 6'4" or some shit?
I think he might be bigger than that.
6'9". This
I
motherfucker's
was gonna
6'9".
Trump's about 6'4". I think he's like 6'1", 6'2". I think
Who?
Trump.
How tall is Trump? That's a good question. Like 6'9", looks like a vampire. I just don't know. Like, is Barron Trump the Antichrist? I don't know.
He don't look like the other two.
He doesn't. Like, where did this son of a bitch come from? Yeah, he doesn't look like the other two. You're so right. It's all makes you wonder.
CRISPR.
Yeah. They're coming out with all these jabs to edit people's genes. They're probably doing it in utero. We're cloning kids. Like, who knows where this kid came from? But yeah, you're exactly right. He doesn't look like either. He looks. He doesn't look Down syndrome enough to be Trump's kid, but he's not hot enough to be Melania's. I feel like that's a fair assessment of what this son of a bitch looks like.
Yeah, he does look like a Dracula movie straight out of Twilight.
100%, man. You could be the new. Who was the main? Edward Cullen or whatever from that movie. He could be the new Edward Cullen. I'd buy it. I'd full on buy it. Full on. Yeah. Gosh. So yeah, we've got JD Vance out here trying to sell the American public on this idea that Trump is this like benevolent, spiritual Christian figure, and that's ridiculous enough in and of itself. But
all you should have to do is look at who his spiritual advisor is, Miss Paula White. Like, that should tell you enough.
She's weird, man.
Very weird.
Was she the one that came out with
speaking
that
in the tongues and yeah.
I don't know what to think about it. I had a conversation about that at work with somebody the other day because, like, I don't know how well read you are, like, biblically, but one of the things that it talks about in the Bible, because Paul addresses this in one of the epistles, where he's telling these folks, I can't remember if it's at Corinth or Ephesians or where the hell it was, but he talked about people speaking in tongues. It's very clearly borne out that people were doing that in the Bible, because he's like, hey guys, you've got a bunch of people speaking in tongues and nobody understands what the fuck they're saying. This is a paraphrase, by the way. Nobody understands what the fuck they're saying. Why are they doing that? Like, have a person or two do that, but if they're doing that, how about you have somebody to interpret what they're saying?
Yeah.
I would love it if somebody would interpret for this.
I think if it was real tongues, if someone was actually speaking in real tongues, I think maybe the Holy Spirit would help you interpret it yourself, and you wouldn't need a translator. So maybe. That's why I think all the fake tongue is just because you have to have a translator saying what it is.
Right. And I mean, none of it's like some recognizable language. They all say it's some like weird spiritual language or something.
Just sounds like a baby. It sounds like gibberish, dude, like baby talk.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to speak in tongues, speak to me in French or German. Don't why do you sound like a Transylvanian child? You know, like that shouldn't be what's coming out of your mouth at all. Makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. So yeah, and I don't know if JD Vance is like trying to make a bid for the 2008 primaries. I assume that's what he's doing, but he's also been out and about in the public eye, and maybe this one's of Trump. I'm losing track, folks. Let me see here. JD Vance and Trump have also been out and about in the public eye talking about how this deal we have with Iran is some kind of win. Like, and I don't know how many people have sat down and looked at this deal. Let me see if I can find this clip real quick.
The win would have been not to go in there to begin with.
Right.
Like
100%.
There's no win to it. Like, everything is increased in price. Everything's going to continue to increase in price, and you just messed up the food supply for the next year.
100%. all these talks about how like if farmers couldn't get gas or gas was so expensive that
and the fertilizer too. But I've also read some stuff about the fertilizer shortage not being actually from that. It's from these data centers use fertilizer apparently.
Data centers using fertilizer. I didn't heard that.
I've seen a couple videos on it. They use the fertilizer and they use something else. I'll have to look it up. I'll find it and send you a video on it for the next show. But
yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was it was something about them using fertilizer in the data center.
That is weird as shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, these data centers are already weird enough with how like they almost appear to be like these odd temples to AI, more or less, and they're using up water at these insane rates. It's those are so weird, so weird. I think, folks, I found that clip of Vance talking about Iran. Let's listen. Hopefully, this is it.
Through diplomacy, through working together to transform the Middle East, where Iran and the Gulf have been at war with each other, or at least have had very unfriendly relations, where Iran has been a driver of regional instability. Now we see a future where everybody can work together to promote peace and prosperity for everyone. As I think a lot of you appreciate, peace is never easy. Peace always requires a little bit of work. It always requires a little bit of give and take. But the President of the United States is committed not just to peace between the United States and Iran. The President is committed to a regional peace, which is why we're here working so hard to settle our issues. Through
peace requires a little bit of work. Peace requires a little bit of work. Now, I don't know if folks have been keeping up with what the hell has been going on with this alleged bombing of Iran over the past, 2 years? But like, what work does peace require other than not leveling an offensive at an entire nation? Like, that's such an odd comment to throw out there, especially because what they seem to be doing is like, I'm not a child of divorce, but I've known a lot, and the way like mom and dad, maybe dad slept with the babysitter, and mom and dad are getting a divorce because dad slept with the babysitter. He hasn't been able to get it up in 6 months because he's an alcoholic, and mom's tired of dealing with she's sleeping with her yoga instructor. So they've decided they're going to get a divorce. And then at some point, they sit kiddo down and they're like, listen, kid, let us tell you why mom and dad getting divorced is a good thing. You're going to have two moms now. Dad's going to have the 16-year-old babysitter move in with him in his creepy apartment in the ghetto. And you're going to have two daddies because mom's going to have her 6'5" jacked yoga instructor over every night to make sure she's well satisfied, weirdly trying to convince people that whatever's going on is a good thing. And if you read through this supposed 14-point agreement, it's all just completely insane. It's like somebody trying to convince you why you getting mugged is a good thing. Like it starts out like, so the U.S. and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies are signing this decree to termination of military operations. The next one, the U.S. and Iran are committing to negotiating and achieving the final deal in a maximum of 60 days, extendable with mutual consent. Meaning, if we decide these peace talks are going to take longer, they'll just take longer. It's fine. We'll bomb people for as long as we need to get to peace. Okay? Mom and daddy are going to keep other people for as long as they need to figure out why they should be together. That's what we're trying to figure out. Already completely ridiculous. And then if you scroll down, the president of Iran will make their best efforts to arrange for safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman, which I assume is through the Strait of Hormuz. I don't actually know. Everybody suddenly knows what this strait is that I'd never heard of a day in my life. Everybody suddenly knows what the Strait of Hormuz is. The demining by the Islamic Republic of Iran will be instated within 30 days. I assume that's no longer mining for potentially weaponizable materials. And then here's the big kicker, folks. This is why it's good that we went to war with Iran. We went to war with Iran because we had to go to war with Iran. And we had to go to war with Iran because we decided that we had to go to war with Iran. And that's important because we had to go to war with Iran. If you're not hearing me, we had to go to war with Iran, obviously. Don't ask why. Don't ask for reasons behind anything. We just had to bomb Iran. It was very important because we had to bomb Iran. And the reason this treaty is good is because now we're going to give them $300 billion for reconstruction and economic development. But that's good. It's good because it's good. And don't ask why it's good. It's good because it's good. I mean, am I insane, or is this the most sales pitch I've ever read? I mean, Neff, does this make any sense to you?
Really? The whole reason they were going in there was to stop Iran from obtaining a nuke, right? How long have we heard that? Since the 80s, they've been saying they're 6 months away, they're 2 weeks away, they're 3 weeks away, they're 4 months away from getting a nuclear missile, and they still have not got one. And then Trump came out the other day saying, "Oh, well, the ballistic missiles, they have to be able to have some. They have to protect themselves." It's like, what are you saying?
Right. That
None
always seems so strange to me. Yeah. Dude, you're totally right. And how weird is it? The odd double. This is what always seems strange to me, because we had the same narrative before 9/11 with the war with Iraq and Afghanistan and all that shit back then. Is Iran can't have weapons of mass destruction. We cannot allow. It was Bush back then, so it was some weird Texas accent saying Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan couldn't have nukes, couldn't have their big tagline then was weapons of mass destruction, and it never made any sense to me, because, and I'm not 100% on the nukes are fake train, although I'm starting to get there. But what didn't make any sense to me was, why is it we allegedly have these things, right? We allegedly have nuclear weapons that we just have because we're America and we have those things. Why is it okay for us to have them and not them? Like, it never made rational sense to me.
Yeah, Russia has them, China has them, North Korea has them, we have them. That's all the people that are allowed to have them.
Right. Those are the only ones. We decided these are the only people who are allowed to have them. Who made that decision? Who decided that? Who came to the conclusion that these are the 4 or 5 countries who are allowed to have them, and everybody else, we just blow them the shit up? Which, I mean, it's fun. It makes for a fun storyline. It makes for fun lines at the gas station. It makes for, fun fights at the gas station when people are trying to get, it makes for a lot of fun over here in the States. But it's never made any, that narrative has never made any sense to me whatsoever. It's so weird.
Me either. I'm on the faking side of the nukes. Only reason being is because I think if that many people had them, I think they would have already used them by now, at least somewhere.
Dude, that's a totally rational perspective. Yeah. 100%.
The last time that one got used was Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and there's people living there, right? But also now the radiation fallout is not a thing anymore. Like that, that's like a Mandela effect there. Oh, it was never a thing. I always grew up learning, people will never be able to live there again. Look at Chernobyl or whatever. And I don't know.
100%. Dude, that's so. What up, Stacks? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, 100%. They always talk about Chernobyl and how, like, nobody can go there. There's nuclear fallout. People can't go there. And the narrative's kind of weirdly shifted as of late, with people talking about how, like, gorgeous it is there because it hasn't been touched by human hands in X amount of time. But yeah, I mean, the narrative completely falls apart, because you're right. There are people living in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Where was the fallout in these cities we allegedly nuked in the 40s?
Yeah.
There shouldn't be there.
And then you see the pictures of the test bombs that they put off, but if you really know what it is, it's like the little model houses that they're blowing up. It's not even a real test site. It's scaled down and videoed. Like the camera would not be able to record it. It would have blew the camera up.
Right.
And then you got the guy standing back in the bunker with the little glasses on, watching. Like, how would you have got out of that bunker and still lived if the fallout was so bad?
It's so true. Owen Benjamin does a great breakdown of those videos. You're exactly right. It's so it makes me embarrassed now that I didn't catch on to it back then. You know, because I didn't. Like, if somebody had to break it down for me like I was 5.
Yeah, like I said, 2020 is what really shifted me into like overdrive. I'm pretty sure if I wouldn't have been a crazy raging alcoholic / drug addict in my 20s, then I probably would have caught on a lot sooner. But you live and you learn. Yeah.
I don't even have the excuse of being like a raging alcoholic or drug addict. I was just full on for that whole period of time. Like but it just blows my mind how obvious some of it is. And it takes, for me, like with the little houses thing, like the weird little model houses, it takes somebody like Owen Benjamin breaking it down in front of your face to make you go, oh, holy shit, it's been fake this whole time.
Yeah.
And you just come to that realization. I've never felt more violated than some of those moments where it's like you realize you've been lied to for how many years. You're like, is my whole life a lie? I don't know, but that was really. Is this what people feel like after they get raped? You know, like is that what that feels like? That might be a little strong, but yeah. So moving on.
To imagine.
I'm not a gamer type, but I know there are a lot of people out there that are. I have a lot of friends that are big into gaming, and one of the things like Agenda 2030 and the New World Order shit and the World Economic Forum has been this whole concept of them coming out and telling people you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. And I've been wondering for a hot minute what that's going to like. What's the first thing they're going to introduce into people's lives that really fits that mold? Because they've been pushing that narrative. They've made it weirdly obvious in some cases, like kind of held it under people's noses. This whole like you'll own nothing and you'll be happy narrative. But to me, given the nature of a lot of the rest of what like the World Economic Forum is doing and some of these bigger organizations out there are doing, it makes rational sense, right? Like if people own things, they're going to feel a sense of ownership and pride, not just in like their own lives, but in their community. They're going to want to protect the people around them. They're going to feel like they can do things. And so we've got to make sure people don't own anything. And so from that perspective, it makes rational sense why they would be trying to do this, right?
I think the first thing they started with was the music. Like, what was it, Napster or whatever back in the day? You digitize it. So now you're not buying the physical copy anymore. Just like when you go from the DVD, VHS to DVD to streaming service now. And then the games, just like you were just saying, games are doing the same thing. They're you buy them on your actual console now, and you just download it. You don't have to own the disc anymore. So that's what they started with.
Dude, that's such a good point. That hadn't even occurred to me. But yeah, you're right. Like, I guess that would have really started with Napster, which was like the late 90s, early 2000s, when they were just selling subscriptions to people for this music that folks used to own. You used to go buy a CD and keep that in your car in a like stack of. I had a giant like CD folio in my car.
Big binder.
Yes, that I had to flip through to be able to find the right disc to impress whatever hot girl I was trying to, go out with that week. Like, yeah, that used to be reality. You like owned this physical thing, and then they just started moving things online. And sure, it's massively convenient, but at what cost?
I
And
guess you do it with cars also because you lease them.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I guess for me, that doesn't always, I don't always think of cars because I guess most people's idea there is ownership's the end game. But maybe that's just down here in the South. I don't know. Like that's what most people are aiming for with the lease down here. But I know in other places, especially larger cities, like a lot of people just go from lease to lease to lease. They never actually like pay out a lease. They never do. They just finance essentially eternally. They just keep going from one to the next.
that seems like what everything's going to is a subscription-based model to everything, or tokenization of everything.
100%. And this Xbox CEO came out, and again, I'm not much of a gamer, but I think this makes rational sense given the narrative. This Xbox CEO came out and said they're about to start.
I think we've reached a point
where
it will be hard to imagine that mass audiences can afford thousands of dollars to spend on a console generation. I think we will start to see radically different business models that we never expected start to come into orbit later this year. We will continue to look at new business models, I think, is what is needed for console, rather than just the most premium high performance console in the world.
There's a lot of speculation that you're no longer going to be able to own an Xbox, and Microsoft is going to move towards a monthly subscription model to get the console and the games. And there is some evidence for this because Microsoft has already introduced monthly financing plans for new console days. They did this in 2020. This is when everyone started talking about no longer owning anything. And if you look at this, it's actually a pretty decent deal, but you don't own the hardware anymore. You just pay monthly and you get the console bundled with Game Pass. So this is moving away from owning a console and instead just renting it. You will own nothing.
I mean,
yep. Exactly like you just said, it's all subscription based, and that's where it's going. And
like,
the consoles that you do own, the ones that you do own, it seems like they're gonna come out with an update just like your phone, and you're just gonna update it. You're gonna update your console to keep it instead of going out and buying a brand new one.
100%. Yeah, it seems like that's the way literally everything's headed. And dude, you're so right. It started out with the music and the streaming services. Like that's where it all started out. You just go buy like a real world hard copy VHS that you took home, felt like hot because you were watching Top Gun on VHS. You didn't have to go to a theater, and now you just turn on Netflix or Hulu or whatever people are watching and just drool till you pass out on the couch in a drunken stupor and pray that you don't wake up to have to go to your 9 to 5 in the morning. I mean, that's where it seems like most people are at this point, and they just made their peace with the fact. And this was true of me a lot of days. I'm not saying I'm any different. Like, people have made their peace with the fact that their reality is you're not going to own anything. You're not going to have a house. You're not going to have, you're not going to have a life. Your life is essentially given up to whatever entities are controlling the playing field in the world that you're living in. And that's, I think, the biggest tragedy in all of this, because you can do without a fucking Xbox subscription. You can do without a Netflix subscription, Spotify. You can do without all of that, but it's the sense of it's the nihilism that comes from these things. It's the mass depression that comes from these things. It's the fact that because you don't own a house and you're renting, you're not going to have those people over. You're not going to have that event with friends. You're not going to meet the girl. You're not going to do all of the things that people used to do back in the 40s and 50s when Gam Gam and Pop Pop met and went off and got married and had 4 kids. And, sure, he beats her now and she's trying to figure out a way out of the marriage, but at least they lie and say they're happy to the grandkids, Like, we're all missing out on that, like, pseudo-American dream. I don't know when the actual American dream died or if it ever existed, but it seems like there is a fundamental shift into this weird 1984 nihilistic culture where you're not going to own anything. You're not going to be proud of anything. You're just going to wake up, deal with it, and pray you don't wake up tomorrow. And I know it's a bleak picture. I'm not trying to be the bleak guide.
it's just a demoralization campaign is all it is. You're gonna go out, you're gonna work for your money, and then you're gonna spend it on the subscriptions and all the that they're giving you, and you don't have anything at all to show for it.
100%. Yeah, and you never will on these subscriptions, right? Like at least the weird porn addict like action figure collecting person has an action figure collection at the end of the day. You know, the disgusting old man who was in the back section of the movie the movie store, whatever people used to buy movies back in the day. At least he has a collection. You know, it's gross and creepy, but at least he has something, you know?
Yep.
And it's fundamentally different than all these kids. The thing about this that scares me maybe the most, and I know we talked about it before on the show, and it sounds weird saying it as a 32-year-old man, but all these 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids with ED, because all they do is just sit at home and jerk off to porn, and they don't actually have any real desire to go out, do anything, meet anybody, own anything. They're just numb and dead inside. Like that seems to be where they're trying to push everybody these days.
I'll make my kids get off that shit and go outside, dude. It's like, go touch grass. Like, you can't sit in here all day and just game.
Right. And that's, I mean, kudos to you, because that's a hard thing to do, because they make that so addictive.
Oh, it's very much so. And especially now, they've got them as soon as you're 2 years old, your kid has a tablet. So
yes, 100%.
Of course, like you gotta, you have to give it to them. Maybe not that young, but you have to give it to them because it's the world they're going to grow up in. They need to learn how to use it. They need to learn the boundaries for it. But you have to be a parent and actually set those boundaries. You can't just be like, all right, here you go. Get out of me, or get out of here for an hour. Leave me alone for an hour. Go sit in there and play your game.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way a lot of parents get any like peace, quiet, the way they live any kind of life.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do, man, and that's why a lot of people don't have kids, because it's just I don't know, they've seen it, they've made it look so exhausting, which it is exhausting to be a parent, but you got something to show for it, you know what I mean? It's like you're growing a little human, you're teaching it how to be an actual good person.
Dude, 100%. And I mean, it's not preaching to the choir, preaching to the, I don't know, but like you're exactly right. And I'm a great example of the people that propaganda worked on. Like I could have settled down so many times throughout college and shortly after. Like I could have been that guy, married his college sweetheart, and you know, had some kids and the whole 9 yards. But the way it's presented in society, man, the way, at least in my world, the way I grew up, like my parents were both borderline insane. Everybody else's parents were like getting divorced and miserable. Everything you see on TV makes it look miserable. When you talk to people, like, because dad has to work, mom has to work, nobody has time to take care of the kids. And when they do, they're exhausted. So the kids are a pain in the ass. Like, it makes that life seem not just unpleasant and difficult, but the way it's sold, the way not having kids and a family and settling down is sold to people like me, because it worked on me, is you're doing not just yourself, but your future kids a disservice because you're not ready to settle down yet. You're not ready to have them yet. You're not prepared yet. You don't have a 20-acre farm or whatever. That's the way
you're never ready.
Works.
That's the thing, though. You're never ready. You do it and you deal with it. You figure it out because you have to. You know what I mean? Like you don't have a choice. Once it happens, it's like, now what? And then you just make things happen. Like, that's the only way. That's the only way like, nobody's ever ready, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak from experience on that front, but like, I've had the odd pregnancy scare, and I've never been more motivated. Never been more motivated in my life.
Oh yeah,
to get shit done than when I thought I was about to be a papa. Ever.
It'll get you off your ass for sure.
100%, man. I've never worked harder in my life. Yeah, for sure. And man, it's so sad to see that becoming such a big part of society. And it worked. It worked on me. It works on so many
And then
people.
another way they sell it now is with social media, dude. It's just, oh, the next best thing. Like, look here, there's a single hot chick. Maybe I can message her, and then she messages you back, and then you break up with your girlfriend you got, and you move over there, and then just a cycle, another cycle, another cycle. Like,
Yeah,
you always do better is what it seems like they've done with social media.
dude, that's absolutely true. And those lies are so tantalizing to everybody. It's like you could have this, you could have this, you could have that, and it's this promise of a better tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. It's this promise of a fake reality that's never ever gonna be realized, because that's how they lead you down this road of nihilism. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. What's up, JC? Q. What's going on, you piece of shit? You got a gun pointed at the camera with the profile. I love it, Q. Never change. Never change, Q. Ever. Nice. So yeah, man, you're exactly right. Like, so much weird nihilism, and it's wild. And guys, I think John is finally joining us. Everybody who showed up, John hasn't been here tonight, but I think he just finally popped in the stream. While we're waiting, there he is. Look at him. What's up, buddy? Yes. I think I think I loaded some sound effects in here. Let's
I'm gonna come.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm gonna come.
I never get tired of that one. So switching topics a little bit. On the Twitter, there have been, what's up, John? Okay, you need a minute. All right, on the Twitter, there have been talks about Candace Owens being dead. And Ian Carroll came out and put out this post about how Candace is obviously fine. The whole thing was twice as weird because Candace, as far as I'm aware, doesn't know Lilly. So this Lilly Gaddis person, I don't actually know who she is, said Candace's family reached out to her this morning with deep sadness. She's sharing the passing of Candace Owens, but you can't shake the feeling that it's simply a random tragedy. I want to respect your family's privacy, so I'm not going to share any further details other than telling the whole world that Candace Owens is dead. And then Candace snapped back on X with the following post. Thank you for all the messages of concern, but I am not dead. If I were, it would be entirely appropriate for you to have blamed Israel. So, somewhat relatedly, Charlie Kirk was not concerned he was going to be killed by a transgendered furry after a full day of arguing with Zionists about him abandoning the pro-Israel cause. Hope this helps. Listen, folks, I'm of two minds here. I'm of two very different minds here. So either Candace Owens has been murdered a la the who all have they murdered off? This Oliver Tree guy, Kobe, all these people. Either she's been murdered off and they've replaced her with a clone, or this is just another psyop to get people focused on Israel. And Q, we can potentially get you a StreamYard link if John can send you that behind the scenes. John, what's up? What are your thoughts on some more Jew noticing here in the Twitter?
What are we talking about?
This whole Candace Owens is dead narrative.
I don't know. I have no clue what the fuck is going on with that. Sorry, I'm just getting in here. Who even posted it?
It was let me get us back there.
The chick that posted it, she got big from throwing out the hard R's. That's what she got big from.
I've never heard of this person.
I hadn't heard of her either.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that's how she got famous.
Yeah, she went online saying, dropping the N bomb a whole lot.
Good for her.
I mean, I respect the bravery, I guess, but it's just weird. And maybe this is just another ploy to get famous. You know, I don't want to be the person crying wolf about this more than likely kind of hot talking about Candace being dead, but it just seems like an odd narrative. And the first thing, I don't know if I'm just so far gone at this point, just so full on tinfoil hat that I just automatically assume somebody's been murdered and cloned, because that's what I think of. I mean, do you guys think it's possible that they're trying to push like the truther community so far one direction that just your first reaction, or at least mine, is so insane? If you talk about it, you're immediately going to get discredited. I mean, because that's what I wonder when I see stories like this.
Yeah, I mean the whole movement's been psyoped and controlled from the beginning, I think. Well,
That
was
tracks.
it Obama back in the day was like, you put out enough false information with the true information and nobody knows their head from their ass.
That's a good point, man. And Obama, one of the great speakers of our time, and Michelle Obama, one of the nicest of our time. I mean, that lady has a nice. I think we can all agree she has a very nice. And so I'm inclined to believe Big Mike's husband. Like, you're exactly right. If you mix in truth with lies as well as a lot of these folks do, I miss that. Not nice guy. Montreal shooter seems based. If you mix in truth with lies the way a lot of these people do, it becomes, like you said, Neff, borderline impossible to tell the difference. And maybe there are people a hell of a lot smarter than me who can immediately like look at a story and divine the good from the bad, the wheat from the tares, right? But for me, I have a hell of a difficult time at trying to figure it all out. John, you look like you had a thought.
No, I'm just reading your document for tonight. I haven't had a chance to look at any of this. So
No worries, dude. I realize we're calling you in on very short notice. You just popped
yeah,
in.
I literally got home like 2 minutes ago. So haven't even eaten my food yet.
I'm glad you showed up. You can finally get to meet Neff.
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, good to meet you, dude. This is awesome.
That's what I really look like in the picture too. Just so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That'd be badass. That got a big old swinging like a baby's arm holding an apple. Thank you, Q. We appreciate that apt description of Michelle Obama. So, a couple more things, folks, before we start winding this down. The first is, John, I think you put this in the Twitter document. This in Asia, in the Asian countries, they're starting to create sites for people who have become so addicted to dopamine releases from these games. People are playing on their phones, surfing the web, and buying it online. They're starting to create sites just like this one where people can go to pretend shop. People need a place to go pretend buy a Gucci handbag. They have one that's specifically designed for ordering takeout. They have fake DoorDash for fat who have gotten so fat, all they can do is sit around and imagine what it's like to order a big, fat, juicy to munch on. This is the world we're coming to. These people are so addicted to the dopamine of buying online. They're wasting so much money. Companies are having them buy fake online. Tell me this isn't the end of days.
Yeah, dude.
I think it might be a good idea.
Yeah, I put that in there after you were telling me about that place where they turned eBay into TikTok or whatever. Where you
whatnot.
Where you buy so I was like, this is crazy.
It's so wild.
It goes even to a further. I thought that was an insane idea, but this goes even to a further extreme. It's insane.
If you're pretending to shop, please, and I beg of you, please yourself. Well done.
Yeah.
I bet you have to pay for a subscription or a monthly fee to use the app also.
You probably do.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
It's like,
I'm sure you do.
This is taking like Weeble's idea of doing like fake stock trading to a whole new level. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
It's so ridiculous that this is where we've wound up, man. And you're right. I got pulled into, I don't know if you folks know what Whatnot is, but it's this like eBay alternative where you go online and you can just like swipe to bid on items. And it's the most addictive thing I've ever gotten myself into. Like I bought 4 things in the span of like 20 minutes just because it was so I got such an adrenaline rush from bidding against these complete strangers online. It's like the same concept as like gambling. And I spent like a grand total of like $7, but still I could see where that could fly out of control.
It's the most white girl.
If I had been drinking like a Starbucks vanilla coconut milk latte, it would have been the most white girl thing you would ever seen. I was on my couch in a blanket with my AC. It was cold in my house. It was like 62, but with my AC blasting just on Whatnot with a sitcom in the background. I was full on white lady.
Carson, that's a low moment in life. I hope you realize that.
It was not ideal.
I'm not.
I'm not proud of it. Okay, and no part of me is proud of that. All right. I'm just saying.
As long as you acknowledge that.
I will acknowledge that I succumbed to the allure of essentially like just a fake online auction. Like it gets people pulled in. It gets people.
Go shop on Temu, man.
I've thought about it. Is Temu? Is that a scam? Is that not a scam? It looks like a scam.
No, it's not a scam, dude. They got some cheap on there, but sometimes you don't get what you ordered. Just so you know.
So buyer beware is what I'm hearing about Temu.
Or it might be like, say you try to order a refrigerator, you might get a mini fridge.
So I had that happen on the Whatnot site. I thought I was buying essentially a Roomba, and they gave me this weird plastic like thing with a motor in it that just kind of moves around that doesn't actually work as a vacuum. It was the most thing I've ever done. I mean, I felt like a moron. I spent like $3 on it, so I don't know what I expected to show up in the mail, but yeah, no, that makes total sense. Psychology Today even came out with an article on the topic, and I can't remember. I didn't highlight the quote. I wanted to read from it. According to the Korean Times, one user found the fake delivery site helpful for managing late night cravings, and his college student reported less loneliness after visiting, here's what I don't understand, a smoke break site while studying for exams.
The hell is a smoke break site?
That's what I want to know. Like, and I didn't have the time to look it up when I found the article, but I'm like, you're telling me a college student reported less loneliness after visiting a smoke break site. It's another one of these dopamine sites. It offers, I guess it's essentially like a place you can.
For people who don't actually smoke, maybe like.
Yeah. Here's another article, online smoke break sites in Korea, where I'm assuming like one of the big allures of like smoking for a lot of people, at least in the corporate world, is like you go out, you meet people, you talk for 10 or 15 minutes, and like it's kind of like your social interaction for the day. That's the way a lot of people I work with see that. Like I work with a lot of smokers who just go out, have a couple of puffs, and just chill for a little bit. And
sounds like they need to just get Tinder in Korea.
Honestly, do they not have Tinder in Korea?
I don't know, but if you're a college kid, you shouldn't be lonely.
That's accurate. Well, there's another part of the problem, like kind of coming full circle, is college kids aren't anymore the way they used to. They're not hanging out with each other the way they used to. Everybody's sitting in their dorm room jerking off, trying to find something to replace the fact that they don't have, as John shoves, just a sized burrito in his mouth. They don't have anything to replace the community that they don't have anymore. Like, but they're trying. They're searching to find shit. It's so depressing. Yeah, it's an online smoke break site where they can essentially just like go hang out with 3 minutes of virtual rest.
Why not just bring back chat rooms? Like,
right. I think that's essentially what this is a chat room that I guess they're paying a prescription service for.
Sounds like a version of Yik Yak.
Which I don't know how many people know what Yik Yak is, but that was like a completely anonymous, essentially shit posting app where you could get on an app that was like specific to the college you went to and post whatever you wanted. And like nobody could tell who it was, but everybody that went to your college could see it. It was the most thing ever, but it was so much fun. You would just shit post all day, and it was totally, completely anonymous. It was phenomenal.
it was kind of the concept of LifeLog when it came out that turned into Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. Except everybody's like, I guess you know who people are on Facebook. That's the only problem is like, you know who these are. That's the only big issue there. But yeah, these people are just getting online and I guess finding social connection there in some of these dopamine sites. It's so weird, but that's, I guess, the direction the world's headed, man. It's, I can't imagine it getting worse than this. Because people used to go out to like their neighborhood bar, go hang out with their family, with real people. And in the past 15 years, probably, we've made this weird switch to where people are so afraid of having an uncomfortable experience. People are so afraid of rejection. People are so obsessed with the latest thing on Netflix that not only is it uncomfortable to go out, it's undesirable.
Yeah, man.
And that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Truly terrifying. So, speaking of the end times, have you guys heard about this tokenizing water?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier when you was talking about the own nothing and be happy, that they're going to tokenize everything. Land, air, water, all any kind of natural resource. That's the way it seems like it's moving to me.
It seems more and more like, and I can't remember, Neff, if you put this in the chat or if this was just one that ran across my Facebook feed, but this guy, this is not like a truther community guy, but he put out a video for like people to invest in like I guess NFTs or whatever the hell this is for the new tokenizing water initiative Trump allegedly just signed.
Our entire water supply. I will be signing the framework on July 4th, and Americans who get in early will be very rich.
Here's exactly what President Trump has just announced at the G7 summit in front of the whole world. It's already on Coinbase and it's called USWR, the United States Water Reserve. Almost nobody understands what just happened yet, but stay with me. So the United States Water Reserve is all of America's water supply in one single asset that you can have access to right now very early, before it is announced and goes absolutely crazy in price. It was just shown here with Fox News announcement that Trump has announced this already during his G7 speech in France. But it is tradable right now on Coinbase and they don't want you to know this. And here's why the billionaires have all been buying into water for years, and they're all about to buy the heck out of USWR. Literally hours ago, the United Nations has just warned AI could use more water than everybody needs to drink. You can look this up for yourself. And you just heard Trump at the G7. But here's what the media isn't telling you. Trump and the world leaders have officially agreed water is going to be tradable world asset. The USWR is leading the charge and the framework will be signed on July 4th. Every leader knows billions will be flowing into this one asset. The G7 has this information to get in, now you do too. So I dug further and pulled up BlackRock's publicly disclosed crypto positions. And sitting plainly in their holding, USWR. Exact same asset Elon and Trump are about to shake hands on. And you could look this up for yourself right now. So this is where I went all in, deploying over $10,000 of my own capital. I visited the official website, uswr.ai, and displayed very clearly at the top, President Trump is scheduled to unveil this to the American public on July 4th. And yes, you can confirm this for yourself. When Trump formally announces...
Okay, I don't know where this grandson of a Saudi sheik gets his information, but if this is true, it's the concept is genuinely terrifying. It's great if you're like one of those who like gets in early and believes they're going to get rich off of trading water tokens. But what do you guys think this looks like? I don't know how to send a link midstream, but I would be absolutely game to get you in the next one. If John can figure that out, we'll definitely shoot you the link. But I'll for sure try to get you in the next one, Q, because that sounds like a good time.
Is that how we rotate when I'm out? There's just different listeners of the show.
That's not a bad idea when you're not here.
That's not a bad
I like
idea.
that. Yeah.
Let's do that from now on.
Nefunder's setting the bar high, guys, though.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to really bring your A game.
Yeah.
So
that's a good move.
Good luck with that. So I mean, we're about to invest in U.S. water. I mean, I'm wondering, like, what's I don't understand what this looks like in reality. Like, what does one water token equate to? You know, what do y'all think? Because this is obviously going to manifest in some real way. What do you guys think about what this is going to actually look like down the road?
I mean, there we go. I mean, you kind of see what the same thing that happened to gold, right? Like it'll go into some sort of fiat, kind of a fiat system. So it doesn't really surprise me that they're going that route. It's like you turn the base medium exchange into nothing, right? To where it becomes almost like as a basis in currency, completely worthless. It doesn't surprise me that they'll start going in on land and, natural resources and all that kind of shit. So yeah, it'll go into some fiat backed by nothing.
You alternate listeners of the show, you mean both of us?
Yeah.
Well done, Q. Neff, let's play. Let's just put a video in the chat. Let's play this real quick. There we go.
How long
I cannot read this.
I thought maybe that's all it was just what was on there. It's something about buying up the water rights and stuff. Maybe he actually didn't say anything. I just saw the link for it.
They're buying rivers, aquifers, and rainfall zones. And it is weird how BlackRock does seem to be heavily involved in all of this. Like,
I was looking for another one. There was another one with Bezos talking about it too, talking about the water rights for people and how AI people. He was saying people are holding AI back because they need so much water.
Dude, that's so creepy. Oh, Tyler, yeah. So I'm with Neff. It's a modem for them to continue to take further control of all the world's resources with the purpose of funneling good goys into smart cities. That's a good turn of phrase. I like that. Completely true. And
the way he was talking about with the money, I think it's going to go more towards the carbon credit type score is what it seems like to me. Once you tokenize water and air and like that, that seems the way they want to push it.
Yeah. That makes completely rational sense, and I fucking hate that it does, because that's so uncomfortable. And you kind of rubbed up against something where they're talking about people as taking up the water that's needed for AI. And if you folks listening, like if y'all listen to Andrew from 6G Agenda, his show, if you listen to Tim from Sixth Sensory Pod, like this whole idea of them trying to bring about whatever god or being they're trying to bring forth from this like AI temple they're building, whether it's some kind of new Babylonian thing or whatever the hell it is. In a lot of cases, people are just an inconvenience to be pushed aside. Like, we're the unenlightened cattle out there that are just in the way of them doing what they want to do. And so to me, it makes rational sense to say, hey, let's tokenize this so that we can limit people's access to water, to resources, to whatever it happens to be, so that we can shovel more of this stuff towards, the AI data centers, or, whatever the next thing is.
Yeah, man. I mean, hell, the state already controls pretty much any navigable water source is already under government control. So it's not a, it's not a far off stretch that they can even restrict that even further,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all of everybody who gets water from the city they live in, you're essentially buying from some kind of weird combination of business and government. Like, I know here in the city John and I live in, it's exactly that. Like, they present themselves as like a third party business entity, but they're also the government at the same time. It's this weird hybrid chimeric business entity that's part corporation, part government, and it's just the worst kind of entity to be running anything. I mean, it's terrifying. But that seems more and more the way we're headed.
I know people tell you not to drink bottled water or anything, but have either of you ever been to like a water treatment plant before?
No.
So I do construction work. I used to do a lot of concrete work, and we were working at a water treatment facility, which is ran by the state. So we're there working, and you see like on your drains, when you're walking around, like on the roads, they got the little fish on them and stuff. Some of them drain to the waterways, it says, and then others, they recycle the water. So all the waste goes into this water treatment plant, and it smells horrible as soon as you get there. And there's so many different bins that all this stuff goes into. And there's one bin that's just completely brown and foamy with foam on the top of it, and it's so disgusting to see how they recycle that shit and send it back to you. I will not use tap water and you shouldn't even bathe in it probably, but you kind of have to. So, but it's disgusting. Flat out disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
I would say if you took samples of water and sent it off to the lab, you would probably get like human feces and all kinds of shit that comes back in it, plus all the chemicals. But
yeah, no, I mean, that has to be the case, man. I mean, if the water they're pumping back out to you is that full of shit, then there's gonna be stuff that leaks through. It's just there just has to be, and the amount of chlorine and other shit they have to put in there to treat it is what is equally terrifying. I think not only are you drinking and bathing in water that's full of chemicals, full of hormones, it's also full of all these chemicals they have to put in there to keep you from smelling all the chemicals, all the hormones, to keep you from getting like weird infections from the chemicals, the hormones. Like John and I both have reverse osmosis, like water treatment systems attached to our plumbing in our houses so that we can essentially just like clear all the shit out of the water. But yeah, I mean, it's when I smell the water that comes out, the water I bathe in, it smells like a pool. That's the amount of chlorine we have in our water here. It's terrifying. That shit's heavily toxic. Not to mention the foamy brown water that's likely being pumped to your house, dude. I'm terrified to go to a water treatment plant now.
Yeah, it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. It's like just imagine a big giant swimming pool, and it's just full of water. That's exactly what that's all it is. And then they recycle it through other little smaller pools until it becomes clear, and then they just pump it back to your house.
Oh my gosh. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
That's horrifying. Ugh. So moving on from stuff that's going to make me vomit. I don't know if you guys have noticed in the news lately, we've seen an increasingly large amount of discussions of these flock cameras that they've been putting on a lot of the traffic in the traffic intersections. They're putting them on traffic lights, on stop signs. They're everywhere in a lot of cities. We've even got some here in Columbia, where I live. And
there's a ton of them here.
Are there? Dude, they're everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. I think Andrew mentioned them on the stream we did with him. Like they're all over the place. And
I think there's over 110,000 now in the U.S. There's a website you can go to. I think it's like dflock.com or something, and you can you can track where they're all at. But
yeah, you can if that's accurate. That's always my first question.
For sure.
If that's even, but assuming that is accurate, and you can go and track where they're at, you're right. They're everywhere. My assumption is they're probably more than what they're showing you. But the Wall Street Apes, I have no idea who that is. John, I think you put this in the Tuesday doc in Twitter, but they said a new audit came out and said, so allegedly these are just supposed to be accessed by, I guess the local cities or whatever to look at license plates, but obviously they had to do an audit. This is what blows my mind. They had to put out there, an audit shows that flock cameras are being accessed hundreds of times a day by state agencies and federal agencies. How shocking. The police chief said the city's license plate cameras were improperly accessed hundreds of times by Western State Information Network that was done on behalf of the federal and out-of-state law enforcement agencies, which include the DEA, the ATF, as well as state agencies in Oregon and Washington. Now, I don't think anybody is surprised by this information at all. But the thing that freaks me out is allegedly anyone and everyone has some way of accessing these cameras. I've heard it's not particularly difficult. And what they've started doing is in some areas, they're placing them near playgrounds, folks.
Yeah, that's what I think I put that in your Discord earlier. I was getting ready to bring that up.
How f***ed up is that? Why does
they're saying they're putting them in high crime areas is what it is, but it's like, oh, I thought they were just license plate readers.
Right. Like, what crime is going on by that jungle gym and slide? Like, did somebody open their eyes while they were playing hide and seek while everybody was hiding? Like, what the f is going on there that we need a camera pointed at a kid's jungle gym to watch little Timmy and Susie play house? Like, what kind of sick f decided they needed a flock camera there to watch kids on a playground?
I can see two ways this goes. Obviously, to me, just like over in Britain, if I think it's under the age of 16 or something, you're not going to be allowed to game online anymore unless you have like an identification or something like that. They're going to gear it towards safety for children is what they're going to gear it towards, which I could see that at a park. I mean, that's not a horrible idea, but if anyone can access that in real time, I mean, you got how many child predators living next to that park? So if they can get on there and access it, they know where your kid's going. And then if you can hack into each one of the cameras, you could damn near follow the kid on his whole route.
100%. And you're exactly right. They try to pitch all of this stuff for safety, right? It's that whole like, well, you want your kids to be safe, don't you? Are you a good person? You want your children to be safe, don't you? Are you an asshole? Do you want your kid to fall off the slide and die? How dare you? We're going to put a camera there. That'll stop your little from dying. You little son of a and like this concept that you don't love your kid if we don't watch your kid 24/7. We have to watch your kid, game or whatever kids are doing online. It's this whole idea of farming out responsibility for children to the government. And I get it. Like, you probably don't want your little 12-year-old online gaming unsupervised. Who knows what the hell they're doing online? Who knows what people are saying to them, trying to do with them. Same in like a park. You probably don't want your 3-year-old wandering unsupervised in a park, but why the fuck are 3-year-olds wandering unsupervised in a park? I hope they're not.
Yeah, that comes back to what we was talking about earlier. You just, parents need to parent, but they don't.
Yes. 100%. 100%. It's this idea of the state taking over responsibility for your child, for your, even if it's like your friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever it happens to be. You're like, I'm glad those cameras are there. That keeps them safe. Well, why aren't you there keeping them safe, mother? If you're that worried about them, where the hell is your? Like, I had an ex who would go out walking her dog around her neighborhood at night, tiny girl, 100 pounds soaking wet. If I was around, I would not let her go out alone at night in the air. I was like, this is not like a weird jealousy thing. I'm going to come with you because I don't trust the people who live in your area to not abduct you. You're a tiny lady. They're going to grab you and put you in a van. I would like that to not happen. I prefer you alive. And so it's the simple fact of being present with the people that you care about, taking responsibility for their safety. And a lot of people try to push this into some kind of like, masculinity. I'm not even trying to do that. It's just the fact, it's just the idea of people being present for people instead of spending your entire life at work or at home jerking off or gaming or whatever it happens to be. Be present with your kid, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your buddy down the street. Why are you worried about them getting abducted when you could just be present? It's the whole concept of like safety in numbers. It's the whole concept. And I think this is one of the, I hate quoting a historical entity who could be fake, but who was it? Ben Franklin or Thomas Jefferson, who was like, people who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither. Like, okay, maybe a fake person, probably a Mason and a child. The logic there holds up. The logic there 100% holds up. John, you look like you have a thought.
I mean, yeah, I was just thinking about, what you said there. It's like they've replaced, all of what you said there by systems. Like that's the whole, it's the whole game there. It's like, right, people being with their kids is replaced by the education system. Thus, like being able to like, watch over and ensure your kids' safety is like you entrust that to some type of, really it's an entity, for 8 hours a day. So it's like when you're able to do that and just get that so normalized in people's lives, is like this is the end that it goes down, right? Is that they'll just keep on like pushing that envelope as far as they can take it, putting that system in every aspect of life, and it's very, very dangerous.
100%. Neff, I'm curious, you're a parent. My cranky sounding rants aside, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Do you want a camera keeping your, I can see where people might feel good about this camera watching out for your kid at a park. I mean, how do you feel about this? If this is your kid on a slide getting watched by some guy at the ATF, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm going to be at the park more than likely, so I don't really need a camera there, but
yeah,
it really doesn't. I mean, it really doesn't. I can't say it doesn't matter because it does, but there's already cameras everywhere. We're already surveilled all day long. There's cameras outside of every gas station, every bank, every traffic light, wherever you can think of. There's a camera.
Doorbell camera.
Yeah, and everybody has one of those. So Amazon has a damn digital map of your neighborhood already. Your Blink cameras,
those things are so easy to like access. Those Ring doorbell, people hack into those like all the time, and they'll just be like randomly talking to people in their living room, like, or wherever they have it set up. Like they're not necessarily that secure. So you actually never know like who's on the other end of that looking at it.
Yeah. And then you brought them into your house too.
Yeah.
You've got the TVs, your laptops, if you've got the little child monitor cameras, it's like people can hack those too. So to me, no, I don't want a camera at the park. But I could see where unsupervised kids don't get abducted from parks. But also, I think that's the government doing that most of the time if it's not some crazy sex offender. So,
right. Yeah. I can see where if the people who are doing it are well-meaning, right? It's a nice idea. But what are the odds?
That's the thing, the intent behind it, and it's never good.
Never. I've never seen an instance where more surveillance equals good.
Yeah,
right.
It's just like the internet. The internet can be used for plenty of good things, but is it? No. Never.
Completely accurate. Yeah. Like, yeah. No, I don't think there's anything more to say on that. Yeah, completely correct. Could not agree with you more. So, folks, thank you for sticking with us tonight. Last thing here. I had an idea this week. I got curious. I said, what happens if I look up on the Google, if I try to find the most left-leaning, liberal news article, news organization I could possibly find? And so I found, I think, my favorite source for news, which is the Progressive Magazine, a voice for peace and social justice since 1909. And if you're lucky enough to be one of the people who gets online and reads this magazine, let me tell you, you're in for a treat, because one of their front page articles this last week, this came out on June 15th, by the way, so it was on their front page for a while, was an article about the new Jim Crow laws. Anti-trans bathroom bills seek to limit trans people's access to public spaces. And so they spent this entire article trying to compare. Have a good one, Stacks, dude. Thanks for tuning in, bud. I appreciate it. Trying to compare keeping chicks with out of women's restrooms to not allowing black people to use the same water fountain as white people. They're trying to conflate these two concepts of telling a 6'5" guy in a leotard with his hanging out that he can't use the women's restroom is the same as telling a black lady, I'm sorry, you can't use this water fountain, it's for whites only. This article goes on for, I mean, it's gotta be like a 5 or 6 page article that states many of these bills seek to limit trans people's access to public space by barring them one of the most routine aspects of daily life, using the bathroom.
If you're gonna let them exist, why not just give them their own damn bathroom?
100%. Yeah, like give them a weird, like creepy, I don't know, some kind of bathroom for gays, you know?
Yeah,
like
so
like a
you'd have,
dildo
like,
sticking out of the toilet seat. You know?
So you got your little men logo and your woman logo with the skirt. You just put it hanging out of the bottom of that skirt, and it's for all.
That would be a fantastic idea. Maybe we'll try to print some of those for the Veritas Road.
Be a good sticker.
That would be. That's a good idea. Or maybe I'll 3D print one to see if we can put that on like a bathroom with just a giant coming out of the thing. Yeah, I think that could work. John, I'm going to get on that sooner rather than later. We'll see if we can come up with a prototype this weekend. I'm very excited now. So, guys, if you're lucky enough to go check that website out, please let us know your thoughts. The last one I found on their website, and then we'll close the show with this, because I know Nef Hunter never sleeps, so we don't need to keep him too long, is fighting for care. Bans on gender-affirming care leave transgender patients and healthcare providers with few options. And this article opens, alongside his family, the St. Louis Trans Parent Chapter co-leader. What a title. Like, that's already the gayest title I've ever heard for somebody. Came up with 4 different scenarios for how his daughter, who was 17 at the time, could continue to receive gender-affirming care. There's 17-year-old girls walking around trying to chop their... I will refrain from thanking you for listening in the future, Q. My apologies. There are 17-year-old girls walking around trying to. I don't know. I guess you don't chop a vagina off. I don't know what you do with that to put a penis there. I really don't understand the biological logistics of how that works. But and this girl has parents, and her parents are advocating for the fact that their daughter needs a penis. And that just seems so absurd to me, that not only are there parents out there doing that, but there's a full-on website with editors and a front page that is advocating for these people. Still, like, I thought we got done with this transgender nonsense a hot minute ago, I don't even know what to do with this anymore.
Well, that's like the law they passed in California, where you don't even need the parents now. People at school can help your kid go get that done if they want. I'm pretty sure something like that, something along those lines.
Yeah, it's something like that in California. They're doing something similar in Canada too, where like if your kid's over the age,
that's trying to off yourself.
yeah, for kids in California, you're right. Yeah, I thought they had another bill for your kids trying to switch up the plumbing too, but maybe not. They definitely have the one for like, hey, if your 15-year-old wants to kill themselves, they don't have to ask their parents' permission, which is so fucked up. Hey, what 15-year-old is going to mom and dad and saying, you know what, I think I might want to kill myself. Will you please sign this permission slip? Like, no 15-year-old has ever done that. That is fully a thing to think is going to happen. But B, like, trying to allow 16, 17-year-old boys to chop their dicks off in the name of what? Like, what is this in the name of? Other than bail? Like, what is this? What are we aiming for here? What's the end goal?
Yeah, but you still can't smoke or drink until you're 21 or get a tattoo.
Right. And you better not use social media because you might cyberbully somebody. You might tell them they're online. How dare you? But you can chop your off. That's okay. This is the world we live in, folks. All right. Guys, thanks for listening. Neff, thank you for taking the time to do this, man. It's been a blast. It's been phenomenal to meet you. Do you have any socials you want people to follow? I don't know. You're kind of an enigmatic persona out here in the conspiracy world.
Nope. Nothing.
All right.
Love it.
Just check out the shit I put in the Discord, man.
That's fair. Guys, if you're not a part of a Discord with Neff in there, find a Discord that he's in, be a part of it. He sends an outrageous amount of videos. They're excellent. Like, we get probably, I don't know, a large chunk of our videos some weeks from the stuff he puts in these various Discords. So a good source of information, folks. So go check out the shit he puts out there for sure. Guys, again, thank you for listening. If you like the show, want to support the show, go check out all the places online. John, I forget that I'm responsible for this tonight. It's weird.
Yeah,
no, it's okay. It's on me. I don't know where the QR code is.
Oh my. Okay, I thought I should have explained that beforehand.
It's somewhere different than it was earlier. I lost it.
There you go.
You got it put up, so you can scan the QR code on the screen if you want to go check out the Patreon. You can also follow us everywhere at the Veritas Road or at the Veritas Road Pod on Twitter. And be sure to tune in tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Time, for the End of the World News. We'll be live with Ben, whatever his last name is, with End of the World News. It's going to be a good time. I'm very excited.
You guys will like Ben.
Dude, he's awesome. It was in prepping for the show, I hadn't really listened to a lot of his stuff, but I listened to a couple of his shows prepping for it, and he's good, man. That guy can just go. He's another one of those that just knows his shit. It's impressive. It's impressive. Super nice. So I'm sure it'll be a blast. And then we have the Berean File, 7 p.m. Central Time on July 10th. That one I'm also very excited about. I'm not sure if it'll just be Zach or his co-host, whose name I've forgotten, John.
It's Jason.
If it'll be both of them or just Zach. But either way, we're going to have them on. That's going to be a good time. Yeah, super excited about that. And then Q, we gotta get you on sometime to do whatever you do, man. We'll have to make that happen. And then Neff, if you ever want to do this again, man, this has been a ton of fun having you on. So anytime you want to hop on a Tuesday stream, you are more than welcome, sir.
Let me know, buddy.
Yeah, we'll have to do a full one when I'm here.
Yeah, for sure. John missed out on a good chunk of this one. So, all right, folks, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you all next time. Bye. You got to hit the end stream button. Yeah.
You want me to send out the wrong